Carpool tonight at 9 on Channel 4. 24-hour news continues with this special edition from News Center 4.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of News Center 4.
Yes, we're on a little late tonight for obvious reasons, the NBA basketball game. We have a remarkable story. The state legislature actually dealing with insurance. The Judicial Committee of the Senate considering a bill that could affect the price of car insurance into the next decade. It's a no-fault insurance bill that will either be approved or rejected, but so far, no action has been taken. Tom Sinkovitz is in Sacramento with the latest on this story tonight. Tom?
Well, Pete, they are certainly putting in a lot of hours. I'm not sure yet whether, in fact, they are dealing with it. They went into session at 1:30. They've been at it now for longer than 7 hours. The huge majority of people who were packed into the judiciary chambers were there for one reason only, to watch the no-fault debate. And for some reason, reasons that I cannot tell you, they didn't bring it up until an hour ago, so those people were sitting there for 6 hours. Here's the basic premise. The no-fault bill would cost Californians, the basic no-fault bill, an insurance policy, $220. The proponents say that would save $1.6 billion a year in insurance premiums. Supporters who include Governor Wilson say this is a very workable plan. But the Judiciary Committee attacked that premise, saying full coverage like that most of us carry right now would cost a whole lot more. And the provision that would ban lawsuits in all but serious injury and property damage cases had some opponents saying we want lower rates, not lower rights. And many of the witnesses who testified against the no-fault bill say that we should just give Proposition 103 more time to work. And you know, by the time this all ends sometime tonight, that's exactly what might happen. Willie Brown's alternative bill, which is also being considered, would likely come out of this committee tonight but be vetoed by the governor. So what we might end up with is, unless this no-fault bill passes, is a situation where we'd have no insurance reform again. Pete?
Well, that's why I said dealing with, Tom. Obviously, we have looked at this for 5 or 6 years now, and it's been the state, the population of the state, the citizens who've had to deal with the question of insurance on cars.
That's right. No one I know who doesn't want their insurance lowered. In Sacramento today, also, a Democratic plan to raise taxes on the richest Californians went down to defeat. It fell a dozen votes short of the necessary 2/3 majority in the Assembly. Meantime, Governor Wilson said a budget compromise worked out by a bipartisan legislative committee does little to solve the deficit problem. That formula would raise taxes by $7 billion, cut spending by the same amount, which in theory erases the $14 billion deficit, but the governor does not buy it. Now to a San Francisco federal courtroom, where a landmark lawsuit, a discrimination lawsuit, got underway today. The Lucky food chain is accused in a class action suit of discriminating against women and minorities in job promotions. The outcome of the trial could have a major impact throughout the grocery business. Mark Jones reports.
An Equal Opportunity Commission investigation covered a 5-year period. Store managers, men, 149, women, 12. The $30 million lawsuit alleges sex and racial discrimination. The federal courtroom was packed with Lucky management and Lucky employees. You might expect the 6 women and 1 black man who filed the lawsuit to be the key witnesses in this case, but their attorney turned the tables on Lucky management. In the opening confrontation, his key witness was Lucky management. On the witness stand, Robert Gill, Lucky's manager of labor relations. Gill told the judge, quote, Lucky had no written policy or criteria for promotions to any position, that there is no written job description for any position, that there is no policy of posting any job openings at any of its Bay Area stores, that there is no policy to document how or why promotions are made or denied. Gill admitted signing a January 1986 memo stating his concern that over a 2-month period, 13 of 15 management openings went to men.
There are thousands of promotions in the course of a year, and when all of the statistics in the case are presented, Lucky will show that the rates of promotion to female and minority employees are the rates that one would expect.
Lucky management contends women and minorities do not apply for the low-level management jobs. In San Francisco, Mark Jones, News Center 4.
This first day back to work after the Memorial Day weekend was a nightmare for thousands of commuters in the East Bay. Just before this morning's rush hour, a big rig overturned on Highway 880 in Fremont. The truck, full of furniture and paper, caught fire, blocking the freeway in both directions.
possible somebody may have cut him off, and he had to swerve to avoid and overcorrected or something like that. But with traffic being light, more than likely he may have fallen asleep.
The driver, 25-year-old Jesus Castillo, was only slightly injured. Traffic, however, was backed up for miles and miles. It was nearly 11 before it was completely clear. And these pictures, taken at noon, show the Nimitz jammed again. Ironically, the accident happened just hours after the CHP said this Memorial Day was much safer than last year, thanks to a decrease in highway fatalities and drunk driving arrests. Of course, neither involved here.
After 2 days of searching, a missing 21-year-old East Bay man still has not been found in the swift waters of the American River. He disappeared near Auburn, and as Roy Stearns reports, it appears to be a case where a dare turned into disaster.
Geez, there was about probably 100, 250 people here.
That's the kind of day it was, a crowd enjoying great fun along the river, except for one group. Jay Highland was watching them, alarmed at what they were doing.
And they said they were just down for 3 days and that they were all testing themselves in these rapids to see who could swim through them and who couldn't. Kind of like a truth or dare to see who could do it, who couldn't.
What happened next brought the Placer County Sheriff's dive team to the scene and the CHP helicopter as the search began for one in the group. 21-year-old Jeffrey Godfrey of El Sobrante in the Bay Area had disappeared.
Either hit his head on a rock, we're not sure, or just became very tired.
Again, Jay Highland, who saw it happen.
He got pulled back out in the current and then sucked under, and he emerged back down here, and that's when his friend finally got to him to rescue him. But the current was so strong that they went down here and hit the rocks below the bridge, and that's where he lost him, and they separated.
It is a tragic accident, but there is a lesson here known to these Auburn kids who live here. It is a lesson about a current stronger than the strongest of swimmers.
If you screw around too much, you could lose it and kind of go downstream a little farther than you planned.
It is a lesson also about how quickly the intense cold of the snowmelt water can numb you to exhaustion and near unconsciousness.
Right now in early spring, when you get that snow melt, you know, it gets really cold, and you go in it and you get sucked under or something, you get hypothermia, you just lose it.
Beautiful, but dangerous. And Placer County deputies say that is the way it is going to stay for about the next month and a half. As the current continues swift, the water extremely cold. Along the American River, Roy Stearns, Channel 3 reports.
Let's hope this isn't the start of our summer fire season, but a fast-moving grass fire that kept firefighters busy in San Jose this afternoon broke out around 3:30 and burned 50 acres in 20 minutes. It was just along Highway 101, just north of the Hellier Avenue exit. No buildings were ever in danger, but the Hellier on and off ramps were closed for a time because of all the smoke. Investigators think it was started by kids playing with matches.
We're coming back. The president, his wife, the dog, and the water.
Captioning provided by your Bay Area Nissan dealers.
It's all very curious. Doctors have ordered tests on the drinking water used by the president and Mrs. Bush. They're checking to see if something in the water could have caused them both to get a thyroid disease called Graves. It's highly unusual. Now, as Steve Handelsman reports, even the family dog is sick.
Oh, gosh, last day.
The president was stiff this morning. It was chilly in Maine, where he continues his vacation. But Bush says he feels more energetic, and he's gaining weight as treatment brings his Graves' disease under control. Now his doctors want to solve the big mystery. Why do George and Barbara Bush both have Graves?
One of the classic thyroid men, Colonel Berman, known for his expertise, told me the odds are 1 in 3 million.
That's because Graves is not contagious. It's an immune system disorder and has no known cause. But White House doctors have ordered a check of the Bush's water.
Now, we have no reason to suspect that there's any problem, but we did ask the Secret Service to check the water for lithium and iodine, which are two substances known to cause thyroid problems.
Samples will be drawn at the White House, from the water system at Camp David, from the Bush family home in Kennebunkport.
And from here at the Vice President's residence in Washington, where the Bushes lived for 8 years. Vice President Dan Quayle, who lives here now, is said to be wondering if lead in the pipes of this old home may have something to do with the Bushes' illness.
First dog, Millie, came down with lead poisoning after she lived in the vice president's mansion. She also has an immune system disease, lupus, not related to Graves' disease, but White House doctors want to see if her problem is somehow linked to her master's. The medical guessing game, and that's all it is, appears to amuse the president.
But our motto is get the lead out, so let's...
You bet. Let's go, sir.
In Washington, Steve Handelsman, Channel 4 News.
All right, let's talk with Janice now about our weather.
You were mentioning how cool it was in the area today. Well, in a few days, it will be warmer than probably a lot of people want it to be, especially with it hitting above 90 degrees over the inland valleys by this weekend. Here's a look at the current temperatures around the bay. Still pretty mild out far East Bay in the valley. Concord at 70, Oakland 59 right now, 56 in San Francisco, and 61 in San Rafael. We look at our three-dimensional satellite loop for the nation. Big thunderstorms continue over the southeast and the Gulf Coast. Watch the trail of moisture swing in a curve all the way back to the middle Atlantic states. Also some storms brushing over the state of Michigan. Big ones with some tornadoes reported over the Dakotas back through Kansas. And on the west coast, we've got some coastal fog and cloudiness moving in, and a cold front that's pushing into the Pacific Northwest will bring an increase in cloud cover to the Bay Area, but no rain is expected. After the front passes sometime Thursday, we'll see a big warming trend in store for us. For the nation tomorrow, if you're traveling, rain showers from Seattle down to Portland and Astoria, Oregon. Sunshine for most of California. We'll see some rain showers from Kansas back through the upper peninsula of Michigan and Lake Superior. Also some isolated thunderstorms over the rain-soaked south. They've had quite a bit of rain over the weekend. Muggy 90s, too. 100 for Palm Springs for an afternoon high tomorrow. 82 for Bakersfield, and 73 for Yosemite. Around the bay, temperatures will continue to be on the cool side, maybe a few degrees warmer than today, like 60 in San Francisco and Oakland, up to 76 in Livermore tomorrow, and 63 in San Rafael. In a couple of days, it'll warm up even more. Here's the forecast. Fair inland tonight, with fog and low clouds continuing on the coast and spreading just inside the bay, lows 45 to 54 degrees. Tomorrow, low clouds in the morning, but becoming mostly sunny inland by the afternoon. Highs 58 to 77. Here's the 5-day outlook. Wednesday and Thursday will have a mixture of sun and clouds, and once the clouds break through, the temperatures will warm up into the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and eventually the 90s by Saturday and Sunday.
Boy, what a change.
Yes, a big change.
We want to get everything in here that we can in this truncated newscast, so let's go across to the gentleman on the other side.
What'd you call it?
Truncated. This is a truncated newscast.
Okay, I'm picking up the ball in this
Foreshortened would be another.
truncated edition of News Center 4. Oakland out on the road tonight inside the Toronto Sky Dome. Remember Jose Canseco a couple seasons ago, longest home run of his career? He's going to come pretty close tonight, right here, off Jack Acker. Knew it was gone the minute he cranked it out. Acker starting for Dave Steve, who came up with a sore shoulder. At number 7 for Canseco, and the A's had a 3-0 lead. Look at Mike Gallego. Had not hit a home run this season until he found Acker to his liking, and the A's were cruising at 5-1. Blue Jays coming right back, though. Gene Nelson on a relief of Mike Moore, and Mookie Wilson goes down the right field line. It is 5-4 at this point, and the Blue Jays will have the tying run at third base. And then watch how Walt Weiss goes. Look at Walt Weiss. Oh, in slow-mo. And the A's went on for an 8-4 victory. Mike Moore wins his 7th of the year. Now, the A's are back into a tie for first place. No, those guys don't need a life, do they? This is Texas fans with 14 straight wins. Getting great defense are the Rangers. Jack Doherty the catch, but Kirby Puckett a line shot to score a couple. And the 14-game Texas winning streak is history as Minnesota shuts out the Rangers tonight, final of 3-0. Elsewhere on the scoreboard, Roger Clemens wins first time since May 8th. Baltimore beat Cleveland. Milwaukee over Detroit. It's a win for Chicago. And in the 3rd inning, Kansas City is beating Seattle. Giants in Cincinnati, as we speak, working at Candlestick Park. Right now in the 5th inning, the Giants lead 3-2. Highlights coming tonight at 11. How about the Philadelphia Phillies and the man with the beard, Tommy Green? Last time out, he pitched a no-hitter. Could he ring up 2 in a row? Sit down, Montreal's Larry Walker. Only allowed 3 hits tonight, did Tommy Green. Another great job. Look at the play from Ricky Jordan at first. Fell right on the base for the out. Green is now 4-0. The Phils win 12-0. And boy, he's got everybody on his side, doesn't he? Elsewhere, win for the Mets. In the 9th inning, Pittsburgh is leading St. Louis. Atlanta leading in the 6th inning, and Houston leading the Dodgers 4-1 that in the 3rd. Leading into this broadcast, Lakers and Blazers, Game 5, best of 7 for the right to meet Chicago for the NBA World Championship. Guy, right? Dating, he can't date your daughter either, Suzanne, that guy. Here we go with Magic Johnson to the hole strong. Lakers by 5, first quarter. Lakers trying to close out Portland in 5 games. Jerome Kersey seems like he's always thunder jamming to the goal. 52-49 Lakers. Terry Porter, we slow it down. You don't see Magic beat too often. He went around Magic and Scott and went with a left-hand pass. Divac. Portland up 57-55. Mike Dunleavy, will you sit down and just let Magic take over, will you? Clyde Drexler at a 4th quarter, put the Blazers up by 11, and there'll be a Game 6. That coming up Thursday night. Portland is still alive. This play we have to show you. Rodney McRae for Vancouver. Hello there. Oh, jeez. Rodney went right through the fence in a minor league game last night, and we're going to show it to you one more time. Rodney came out of it only with a broken nose, and we say only because it could have been a heck of a lot worse. Can we see this baby again? Here it is, deep drive by Portland. A minor league game, Portland and Vancouver. Rodney, hello there. Oh, jeez. You know, I've been showing this all day long, and it still hurts. And you'll see it at 10, you'll see it at 11. You'll wake up with it on Daybreak with Lloyd. That was really dynamite.
Fortunately, the 2x4 wasn't at head level.
Oh, that has to be the hardest I've ever seen a guy run into the outfield. Well, that is our special little newscast tonight. We'll be back here at 11 o'clock for you.
Bye-bye.